Hi everyone, my name is Audrey and welcome to my channel. Today I'm giving you my September TBR.
life's like a paper plane, don't steer the way. You're told no more fun, it's off to work. You need to earn a dime to have any work, but I don't play that way. And I'm always gonna say, take us back to when we were kids. We didn't know how good we had it. Now we're all just sick and sad it. Take us back to before we grew up, before our problems blew up. We really needed that, hey, heads up. And I keep telling myself, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, yeah. And even when the sky keeps falling on my head, I'm standing on my feet and reaching for the stars, yeah. Take us back to when we were kids. We didn't know how good we had it. Now we're all just sick and sad it. Take us back to before we grew up, before our problems blew up. We really needed that, hey, heads up.
So as of now, I've been trying to prepare all of my TBRs for the end of the year. So I pretty much know where I'm going, what books I want to read before the end of the year, and there's way too many. So I'll need to prioritize for sure. And I have way too many books planned for September, but I'm highly motivated. I'm ready for it, and I can't wait to get to them. So until the end of the year, I won't be participating in any readathons. I know there's a couple coming up, but just thinking about participating in a readathon is a little bit overwhelming for me. So I just want to concentrate on the books I want to read, and that's gonna be it. The only readathon I'm participating is the usual Buzzwordathon that I always do that I've been participating in since the last 2 years, hosted by Books and Lala. So for the month of September, the buzzword is dark or light or anything close to that. So for that prompt, I'm going to be reading The Darkening by Sunya Mara, which is a book I just got from Fairloot. I think it was for July or June. I'm not sure anymore. Don't remember, but I got this one very recently for one of my favorite boxes, The Darkening. So this fits. It's a fantasy book. It's about curses and prince and magic and revenge, I think. So it sounded really interesting, and I'm really excited to pick it up. And it's not too long, it's just under 400 pages, so yay. The second book I want to pick up for this prompt is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I read the Six of Crows trilogy last year, I believe, so I haven't read Shadow and Bone yet. I do want to watch the TV show, so in order to watch the TV show, I'm going to read at least the first book of the Shadow and Bone trilogy and then see from there. I don't have great expectations for this. I've heard that Six of Crows was the best arc from this universe so far. I've read it, I loved it, and I've heard that Shadow and Bone was a little bit underwhelming compared to Six of Crows. I know that Shadow and Bone comes first. I read Six of Crows first. Doesn't matter, it's fine. But yeah, I don't have amazing expectations. I don't think this is going to be a 5-star read for me. But we'll see how much I enjoy it. Next, I have also some books for my secret TBR that I want to finish soon. I have 3 books that are all fiction that I want to read before posting that secret TBR. So I have books number 12, number 15, and book number 28. Two of them that I already own, one of them that is on hold on Libby. I should be able to have my copy on Libby very soon. I think it's like 2.5 weeks, something like that. So I should have that before the end of September. Hopefully I'll enjoy it. It's a very popular book. I waited like 10 weeks, maybe more, to get it. So yeah, I don't have great expectations for that last one, the one I'm going to borrow, but because I've heard mixed things about the author, we'll see how it goes. But I do own the other two, which one of them is on my reader and the other one I have a physical copy. The physical copy is pretty short, and the one on my reader I think is as well. So not too worried about that. We don't want like huge books. I do have huge books on my TBR, but we're just happy to have like smaller books so I can get them read and done with. But yes, I'm really looking forward to finish that Secret TBR part 1 because there's going to be more parts. But I think it's going to be a very interesting vlog. I'm also adding to this TBR some of my current reads books I haven't finished yet. So the first one of those books is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. I've been reading this one for a couple of months now. It's halfway through. Yeah. So 45% through, I think. I love this book so much. Third book in the Poppy War trilogy. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I can't wait to see where it's going, because I did not expect this to go where this is going. So really excited to finally finish the trilogy and have a closure with the story. So yeah, this is a big book. It's 636 pages. But I'm halfway through, so not too bad. The second book that I'm currently reading is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I haven't touched this book in a while. I'm only like 50 pages through. I don't know if I'm going to make this a priority right now. I'm still going to try to read it by the end of the year because it is a Buzzwordathon book that I picked that I didn't get to read. But I do want to read it by the end of the year. It's a sci-fi and it follows a very quirky characters, a crew on a spaceship with a mission. So it sounds really fun. So far, I enjoyed the first 50 pages, but I need to be in the mood for space-related stuff. I'm a very scaredy cat when it comes to space. So we'll see if I actually have time to get to it. But my September TBR is quite huge, so I'm not sure I'm gonna get to it. If not, I'll roll it into October or November. And the other book that I'm currently reading is Crown of Thunder by Tochi Onibuchi, which is the second book of the Beasts Made of Night duology. I read the first one a while back, I think 2 years ago, and I reread it this year so I could get finally to the sequel. And as of today, I did finish this book. So that one's done. Really happy with it. I did start it last month and didn't have time to finish it with my end of the month reading rush challenge. So I finished it at the beginning of this month. One down. I really enjoyed this. If you like dystopian worlds but with magic, I strongly recommend this duology. They read pretty fast also. And I love the writing. And it's a very unique concept where the characters that are poor and have these magical abilities, they eat people's sins because sins can make you sick. And mages bring them forth. They become actual beasts, and the sin eaters fight them and eat them, and they become tattoos on their bodies, and they can eventually die as well if they're not careful. And that usually they fade away with time, but they're poor, so they go and find some jobs of eating sins to get money to be able to eat and live and all that stuff. So lots of politics and magic, dystopian type of world. Very interesting, and I do recommend. I also requested a lot of arcs recently. I've been approached by a publicist for a book I've read in the past on NetGalley last year, which was Downworlds by Rebecca Phelps. It was a Wattpad book, which I reviewed on NetGalley, and I was approached by the publicist for Wattpad books to ask me if I wanted to read the second book in this series that was out on NetGalley, and it's going to be published, I think it's in October or November, not sure. I'll have to check that out. So I said yes. I went on NetGalley and then requested 5 more books for whatever reason. I felt like I didn't have a lot of horror books for Halloween, so I just requested some horror books on NetGalley. And so far I've been approved for 5 of those books, which, like, I don't understand what happened. It's the first time I ever get approved for the majority of my arcs, which I'm not complaining about. But I didn't look through all of those books. Anyways, I just got an email not a couple of days ago for one of those books that is going to be published on September 15th. So I need to read it ASAP. And that book is Lucky Girl, How I Became a Horror Writer by M. Rickert. So this is a horror story, a Krampus story. I did not know that it was like the German evil Santa Claus. I was not aware of that. I was on sprints like for the whole day yesterday, and people told me there that what it was. So I picked it up. I'm not finished with it, but I will be soon. It's interesting. It's a novella, so it's only 66 pages. It goes pretty fast and it's creepy and I love it. It's weird, but I really love it. So yeah, a little bit of horror there. The second arc I'm trying to read before the end of September, actually before the 20th of September, because it's going to be published on the 20th, is In the Coils of the Labyrinth by David Annandale. And this is an Arkham horror story. I did not know what that was, and I researched it, and it's a board game, which I didn't know of, which seems really interesting. From what I understand, it's like an escape game type of game with a scenario, but it's not escaping. It's more like detective instead of escaping, if that makes sense. And you have different characters that you can choose and play, and different abilities depending on the character you choose to play. And there's this whole universe. It's set in the 1920s, and it has a very specific aesthetic. And I was actually drawn by the cover. That's the first thing. When I'm on NetGalley, it's mostly cover requesting arcs. Yeah, this is number 17 in that series of books that is set in that universe, if that makes sense. And I haven't read any of those other books, but you don't need to read those other books in order to read this one. They are all pretty much written by different authors. So there's that. So far, I'm into chapter 2 and I am enjoying it. The mood is set and it sounded really interesting. So really excited to finish this one. It's also a very short one. It's 249 pages, so another short book. And then I have 5 more books that I want to read before the end of the month. I don't know how I'm going to manage all of this, but I'm just going to put it all in here and we'll just roll with it. So the first book I want to add to this that I'm probably not going to prioritize either is The Bookish Life of Nina Hill, which was the buzzword for last month that I didn't have time to get to, and I do want to finish it before the end of the year. So at least I have read one prompt for every buzzword throughout the whole year, if that makes sense. This is a contemporary book. I started it a while back, didn't get really much into it, so I need to restart it. It follows this very introvert book nerd that I think she works in a library or a bookshop, and she finds out secret stuff about her family, and she finds herself in very uncomfortable situations, but that's all I remember from the book. I myself am not that much of a fan of contemporary books. or like romances and stuff like that. So that's maybe why I didn't get to it, but we'll see what happens. The other book I'm trying to get to this month is The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker, which is the first book of a series trilogy, not sure, because I've heard a lot about this book. I don't remember what it's about, but I do know it's set with Asian culture, and I requested book number 2 on NetGalley and was approved for the second book, but I haven't read the first one. So I'm going to put the first book in September because book number 2 is going to be published in very early October. So that one, I need to read book 1 and 2 like very fast. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know. But yeah, that's happening. Anyways, the next book I want to read is a reread, and it's The Diviners by Liba Prey, which I've read, I think, 2 years ago, and I really loved it. It's a YA. Is it horror? I don't think so, but very creepy. Very, very creepy. Maybe it is horror. It's set in the 1920s with magic that is not very well perceived. People don't know that magic exists, actually. So this character is going to New York to her uncle that is very weird and is aware of magic. And this character does have magic. I think Evie, she does have magic, and she's a young teen, and she's cast out of her home because of her magic abilities, and to live with her strange uncle in New York City. It's diverse. From what I remember, there are multiple POVs, and there's this investigation with weird murders, and the one doing the murders is like a ghost from the past. It's like a ghost, and it's so freaky, and there's a song that goes with this murderer, and it's very, very freaky. For a YA book, it is. I really enjoyed this book. It's a long one, though. It's over just over 500 pages. It's just under 500 pages, so it's a big one, but I really enjoyed it, and I do want to get to book number 2 in October, so I need to reread the first one since it's been so long. And the last 2 books I want to get to this month are Catching Fire and Mockingjay by Susan Collins, which are book number 2 and 3 of the Hunger Games trilogy, because next month for the Buzzwordathon, it's going to be Creatures and Animals, and I do want to read the prequel, which is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, that talks about President Snow when he was younger and how he became the President Snow that we know in the Hunger Games. So I do want to reread those 2 books before I get to the prequel, but I need to get to the prequel next month, so that's why I'm putting both of these books on this TBR. So yeah, I have a lot planned, but I'm very excited for all of these reads, almost. We'll see how much I actually manage to read. I'm giving myself a goal to read 8 books. I've never read 8 books in a month, but we'll see how it goes. And yeah, wish me luck, because I'm gonna need it. But I'm very motivated, so let's see how much I actually managed to read. Let me know if you've heard of any of these books. What are your thoughts on them? Which one I should start with first? As always, like, comment, subscribe if you want to. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. And I will see you soon in the next one. Bye.